Hello guys, it's been a while since we took a look at some more Easter eggs and secrets from the Gran Turismo series of games. So here are 15 more interesting things for us to discuss today. I hope you enjoy watching. And if you want to see more of these in the future, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Cheers! We begin our journey on Gran Turismo 3 today. GT3 introduced us to several new cars that were created for the game. The Impreza LM race car and the Altezza LM race car being two of them. Another one is the S2000 LM race car, but we'll get to that later on. The interesting thing about the Impreza and the Altezza is that they are of course intended to be driven on the track, but it's actually possible to equip them with dirt tyres and head off on a rally. It's kinda strange to see a car with as little ground clearance as these, racing on dirt like it's no problem. And there are also decent options for the rally events too, so they're not just for the novelty of it. It seems that this feature may have been a mistake though, as on Gran Turismo 4, you could no longer equip dirt tyres on either of these vehicles. Okay, onto the S2000 LM race car now, but on Gran Turismo 4 rather than on GT3 where it debuted. On GT4 this vehicle had a weird discrepancy with its numbers. On the roof, doors, and at the back of the car, it's shown to have number 30. However, if we take a look on the hood, we can surprisingly see the number 33 there instead. What's even more surprising is that this issue persisted in the sequel Gran Turismo 5, and even for a time on Gran Turismo 6, before it was quietly patched in an update. It's a strange issue to have ever occurred within the game, as the vehicle originally did not have this issue on Gran Turismo 3. Now we head out onto the streets of Tokyo for this next secret. If you head around this section of the track here towards the end of the lap, you can see a cat sat on top of the wall there. If you were driving this circuit normally, it's incredibly easy to miss. In fact, I've missed it for about 20 something years. But it could well be easier to spot when the circuit is driven in reverse. But there you go, a little cat atop the wall there, and it's not the last animal themed Easter egg we'll see in this video either. Sticking to GT4, let's turn our attention to the RE Amemiya RX-7 from JGTC. To see the interesting thing we need to discuss about this car, we need to use a little cheat. For us to access the cockpit view while driving, I'll leave this code in the video's description if anyone wants to try it. Now on Gran Turismo 4 it's usually the case that the open top cars will have fully modelled drivers, because naturally you can see them. The hardtop cars on the other hand pretty much don't really have an interior modelled at all, as you were never intended to get a close look inside them. But for whatever reason the Amemiya RX-7 has a fully animated driver in the car. I can't say I've checked every single car in the game, but it's believed to be one of, if not the only hardtop car to have a fully animated driver inside. Let me know in the comments if there are any more. On Gran Turismo 4 the Mazda RX-7 LM race car is awarded for finishing first in the Roadster 4 Hours Endurance race. And with 8 different colour schemes to get which are awarded at random, you may never have been awarded with every single one. But fortunately I have them all here, and there are some interesting things about them which we'll discuss in this video. But let's start with a rundown of them all. We have silver, blue, red, green, yellow, orange, white, and black. Starting with the white one, which is actually white and blue to be honest. This is the only colour scheme to have a triple digit number, which is 202. Almost all the others have 2-digit numbers. The orange one is number 26 for example. The blue colour scheme is the only one to have a 1-digit number, which is 7. But that's not all. It's also the only car that has a red number instead of a normal one, I'm not sure why this is, though it always reminded me of Nigel Mansell's Red 5 that he had on his Williams F1 cars. The last of the RX-7's colour schemes that's different to the rest is the black one. Not only does it have 00 as its number, but it also looks a lot different to all the rest. Some of the decals like the Gran Turismo 4 logo have been removed, leaving it with a minimalist look. To be honest, it'd be more at home with the other secret black cars that we discussed in a previous episode. Similar to the RX-7, the Formula Gran Turismo also has a ton of colours, awarded at random for finishing an endurance race. But not just any endurance race, the Nürburgring 24 hours endurance race. And there are 10 colour schemes to get. Imagine racing for 24 hours just for a shot at getting one of them. And you'd have to do this event a minimum of 10 times to get them all, if you were extremely lucky not to get any duplicates. Okay, we have white and purple, white and blue, white, red and green, white, silver and black, yellow and black, orange, red, green and yellow, and blue and black. There's also a hidden black version awarded for 100% game completion. Anyway, the odd one out here is the white colour scheme. All the others have a Castrol logo on the airbox, but this is the only one to have a Mobile 1 logo instead. This could be a reference to the Mobile 1 NSX, a stalwart of the GT series, or perhaps a reference to the real-life McLaren F1 cars from around the time of the game's release, which also had Mobile 1 logos on their airboxes. Now, I have made a short of this one before, but I think it deserves a place in this series of videos. On Gran Turismo 5, we head to Laguna Seca. At this time, the circuit was owned by Mazda, and it was named the Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. I don't know whether this is deliberate, but if we use the free cam to take a look at the scenery cars in the paddock, we can see that they're not Mazdas. In fact, every single car here is a Honda, specifically a Honda Accord. I should say as well that the free cam is available with the Gran Turismo 5 Master mod, so big thanks to the creators of the mod. Naturally, Honda is one of Mazda's biggest rivals in Japan and across the world, so maybe the level designers were having a laugh at Mazda's expense here. Just to show you the scenery cars on other tracks too. In pretty much every other scenario there's a mix of manufacturers. Mitsubishi GTOs, Cadillac Escalades and more. Now I have to be honest with you guys. I'd found 14 secrets and Easter eggs to include in this video, and I wanted to find one more. And I ended up finding another case of GT5's devs seemingly intentionally placing the wrong cars in another track's scenery. We go to Fuji for this one. If we use the free cam to keep going past the first corner, we can see a building here and some form of test track it seems. There's also this little banked corner as well. This is actually the real-life Toyota Road Safety Center Mobilitas, a place where Toyota aims to reduce road traffic accidents by educating drivers to be safer on the roads. Toyota have had the Mobilitas Center at Fuji Speedway for almost 20 years at the time of recording this video. So please, tell me why all the center's cars parked out the front here are 2007 Mazda Atenzas. Honestly, I swear GT's creators must be doing this on purpose. At the Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca they put nothing but Hondas, and at the Toyota Center at Fuji they put nothing but Mazdas. I wonder if they thought anyone would ever find them. Well, I did. Something else I quickly covered in a previous short was an interesting sign at Driving Park Beginner Course. But again, I think it deserves a better explanation. so Driving Park Beginner Course made its debut on Gran Turismo 4. However, it was also discovered in the files of Gran Turismo 5 but was unused. It was also in the spin-off Tourist Trophy, and it's the Tourist Trophy version of the track that actually lies unused on GT5. Anyway, we're going to look at this Easter egg on GT5 because we can use the free cam again to take a better look at it. This navigation sign points imaginary people to fictional locations, which don't actually exist on the beginner course. But let's take a look at what they are. Firstly, there's the Cafe GT, GT probably standing for Gran Turismo. Interestingly, there is a real-life GT cafe at Twin Ring Motegi, and the game's devs have modelled it for the scenery at the track. Next, there's the Sports Plaza and the Music Pavilion, which don't seem to reference anything. But then we have Hotel Smoky Mountain, of course a reference to the Smoky Mountain rally track that debuted on Gran Turismo 2. Underneath that we have Greenway, potentially a reference to Green Forest Roadway, a rally course that was exclusive to GT2. Then we have Smoky Garden, likely another reference to Smoky Mountain. Then a tennis court. Underneath that we have Bistro Omega. This references a game called Omega Boost, a PS1 title made by Polyphony Digital back in 1999. Lastly, there is Pub Alpha Core. Alpha Core is an artificial intelligence and the antagonist in Omega Boost's storyline. It's actually spelled with a PH, but on this sign here, Alpha is spelled like Alfa Romeo. Okay, we go to Fuji Speedway next. If we go down the main straight and keep going beyond the first corner, we can see something interesting in the scenery. It's the remains of the old first corner of the original Fuji Speedway layout. Fuji was originally designed to be a NASCAR-style oval, but there wasn't enough money to complete this project before new investors came along and converted it into a road course. The one banked corner that was finished was this one, named the Daiichi Corner, which was different to an actual NASCAR banked corner because instead of climbing up to the entry of the turn, you drop down into it at around 200 miles per hour. The design of this corner led to many accidents and even deaths, and was subsequently changed. The reason I was surprised that it had actually been modelled in Gran Turismo was that when I tried to view it using the regular photo mode camera, I couldn't find an angle where I was actually able to see the Daiichi Corner remains. So I assumed the level designers just hadn't bothered modelling it. It was only when I looked at using the free cam that I was finally able to confirm its existence. And for the first time in this series of videos, we get to include some Easter eggs from Gran Turismo 7. In fact, I can't believe it's been that long since I released one of these. Okay, here we go. Daytona International Speedway is located near Cape Canaveral, which has been the launch pad for the USA's missions into space for over 60 years. If you head around the circuit from the starting point to where I am here, hopefully you'll be in time to see the SpaceX rocket taking off. It's the Falcon Heavy, which launched a Tesla Roadster into space back in 2018. If you're not quick enough to see it going up, you can always wait around for it to come back down, which happens after a few minutes. Now I'm sure we all remember Nessie, which first appeared on Gran Turismo 4. When GT7 first came out and Trial Mountain returned, we all thought that Nessie had not returned to the next generation of GT games, when we looked in the same spot and there was nothing to be seen. But little did we know that Nessie does exist on GT7. We just had to be a bit more patient. If you stop at the top of the hill and wait for around 5 minutes, Nessie will pop out of the water. Now we head over to Mount Panorama, a track we've previously featured in this series. On your first tour around the circuit, you probably won't notice anything of note. But on lap 2, a kangaroo will appear on the back straight, hopping alongside the racetrack. This is one of the many animal-themed Easter eggs on Gran Turismo. Check out the other episodes in this series to see more. I'll leave a link to the playlist in the video's description. Now you may have already seen this Easter egg on GT7 as it's been known about for a while now. But did you know that it's also a reference to another secret on Gran Turismo Sport? On that game you can see a mob of kangaroos in the infield, just down the road from where we can see the lone kangaroo in GT7. And you might think that the kangaroos are there simply because this track is in Australia. But actually there have been several cases of kangaroos seemingly trying to join in with the real life racing at Mount Panorama. Alright, moving on. Early on in the game, when you're doing the cafe menu books, one of the races you'll need to do is the American Sunday Cup 600. At the front of the field is a DMC Delorean, and it's being driven by a driver named E. Brown. This is of course a reference to the Back to the Future film, which famously featured the Delorean. The doc is named Emmett Brown, who creates the DeLorean time machine in the film. Obviously, E. Brown is a shortened version of the doc's full name. Possibly one of the most famous GT7 Easter eggs to date also occurs at Mount Panorama, after we saw the kangaroo appearance earlier in the video. I feel like I would be doing you all a disservice if I didn't include it in this series, so here we go. Head to this spot on the circuit, then wait until your total race timer gets to about 10 minutes. In the distance, you'll see a flying saucer appear. When I first saw this Easter egg, I thought that was it, but no, there's more. If you continue watching, you'll see the alien spacecraft abduct a cow, then fly away. Well guys, there's 15 more of my favourite secrets and Easter eggs from the Gran Turismo series. Thanks for watching, bye!